Here's my video about episode 3 of Twin Peaks: The Return. So, picking up from his last appearance in episode 2, Cooper falls through space, then through some purple smoke, or clouds of some kind, shades of Jimi Hendrix, before he lands on the balcony of a building overlooking a sea of some kind. Cooper climbs through a window and into a room with some kind of constant, mechanical hum. Inside is a woman with no eyes, staring at a lit fireplace. Apparently her name is Naido. At least that's what she's listed as in the credits. As Cooper approaches, the scene constantly rewinds and stutters like it's skipping a record. The woman holds out her hands to him. As music plays, she takes Cooper's hands and communicates only in these sort of breathy noises. Cooper asks where they are, but the woman only gasps in response. Suddenly, something starts beating on a nearby door. The woman gestures for Cooper to be quiet. Cooper notices an electrical panel on the wall as a lamp near it flares into life. The panel shows the number 15. The woman tries to stop Cooper from checking the panel as the scene skips back and forth. Cooper has a negative reaction to being near the panel. The woman tries to stop him from getting close to it, trying to communicate something as the beating on the door continues. The woman leads him to a room with a ladder, and the two ascend onto some sort of metal box floating in what appeared to be the same space that Cooper was falling through earlier, seemingly unconnected to anything else. On top is a large thimble-shaped object. The woman keeps trying to communicate, but Cooper just doesn't understand what she's trying to tell him. The woman flips a switch on the side of the thimble or bell or whatever it is, and the lights dim as electricity seems to flow into her from the bell or thimble. She's knocked off the box and falls into space. Cooper watches her fall and then sees the giant head of Major Briggs float by, like a cloud, beneath the box, and Briggs only says "Blue Rose" and then floats out of view. Cooper can only go back down into the room. He has nowhere else to go, but the room has changed. There's a different woman staring at the fireplace. She appears to be Ronette Pulaski, although the credits and captions identify her as American Girl. The scene moves backwards like the Black Lodge, and the number on the electrical wall panel has changed to 3. We zoom in on the wall panel and the electrical outlet, and then we see Mr. C driving through the desert, seemingly in the same scene that Cooper saw through the Black Lodge curtains earlier. Mr. C becomes impaired as his vision blurs. He keeps staring at the clock on his dashboard and the cigarette lighter in the dashboard. The clock reads 253, which is the number that the arm gave Cooper earlier. Back in the room, Cooper approaches the panel. As he gets close, he experiences a kind of an electrical stretching of his head and smoke as he gets near the panel. American Girl checks her watch, which also reads 253, and then she says, "When you get there, you will already be there." Cooper approaches the panel again and gets another electrical joke as smoke rises from his head. Presumably the man that's already there is Mr. C, or maybe it's Dougie, who we'll meet shortly. Or maybe it's both, I don't know. Mr. C becomes sicker and swerves all over the road. Weber's outside the room begins beating on the door again. American Girl tells him, "You better hurry, my mother's coming," indicating whatever is beating on the door. Cooper keeps being zapped and is eventually sucked into the electrical outlet on the wall panel in a puff of smoke, but his shoes don't quite fit into the holes on the electrical panel, so they're left behind. Mr. C keeps deteriorating as he swerves all over the road, apparently getting feedback from the electrical equipment in the car. And then he finally swerves off the road and flips the car, but it comes to a rest right side up again. Are the rooms with the women a part of the Black Lodge, or something else entirely? Why did the first room skip like a record? That was very different from anything else we've seen. What do the electrical panels mean? Are the numbers somehow connected to Cooper's room key, which is 315? The room key he had at the Great Northern from the original series. What was the thimble-like thing on top of the box? Why was Major Briggs there? Why did he tell Cooper Blue Rose? I mean, if you've seen Fire Walk with Me, you know that Blue Rose is some sort of code word that Gordon Cole has, presumably for some strange cases that he investigates, has a particular interest in. Who was beating on the door? Who was Mother? Here's a wild theory that most likely overthinks the question. I've since looked this theory up, and I saw at least one other person had the same theory. When Cooper returns to the room and finds the Ronette Pulaski lookalike, the number on the panel has changed to 3, which before, when we saw the eyeless woman in the room, the panel said 15. So it had changed from 15 to 3. So if we go in order, Teresa Banks was the first known victim of Bob/Leland, number 1. Laura Palmer was the second, number 2, and Ronette Pulaski was number 3, or would have been. I guess he didn't kill her, but she was still technically his victim. So that makes her number 3. The number on the panel in her room was 3. Does the number represent that, or does it represent anything? Does that mean that the eyeless woman, Naito, was victim number 15? Are there, who knows how many other victims out there somewhere? Who knows? Good question. Probably pretty far-fetched, but I thought it was an interesting thought. In a housing development near Las Vegas, a man named Dougie, who is a fatter, frumpier lookalike for both Cooper and Mr. C, finishes a sexual encounter with a prostitute named Jade in a vacant house. From the way he's dressed, he appears to be maybe a real estate agent, but I don't know that they've ever really specified exactly what his job is. His arm has apparently gone dead. When Jade goes to shower, we see that Dougie is wearing the green ring from Fire Walk with Me. And Dougie has a similar reaction as Mr. C. Dougie shares a name with Dougie Milford from Twin Peaks, by the way. And the arm going dead is the same thing that happened to... the left arm going dead is the same thing that happened to Teresa Banks and Laura Palmer when they wore the ring for a few days before they were killed. Which, sort of a side note, in the season finale, or the series finale of the original series, several people, including Agent Cooper and Pete, played by Jack Nance, and an unknown woman in the Double R Diner, their right arms kind of went wild before they stopped them. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with the left arm going dead on Teresa Palmer and Laura Palmer. But anyway, that's just kind of a side note. Nothing really to do with this. In his wrecked car, Mr. C sees the red curtains. Dougie collapses and tries to get Jade's attention, but she doesn't hear him over the shower. In the living room, Dougie collapses and pukes up a black yellow substance that looks like the garmonbozia, or pain and suffering from Fire Walk with Me, the cream corn, as electrical noises emanate from a nearby power outlet. There's a flash of light and a view of the red curtains as Dougie disappears. It's just sort of pulled back towards the camera and disappears. Jade is startled by the noise it makes. Mr. C sees Dougie in the red room, and the vision fades. He pukes up the same black-yellow substance and then passes out. But was the substance actually garmonbozia? In the red room, Dougie feels funny and wonders what's happening to him. Mike says someone manufactured Dougie for a purpose, but that's been fulfilled. Dougie deflates as the green ring falls off his finger. His head pops like a balloon, and black smoke drifts from his neck. A gold ball rises up from the smoke as his clothing disappears, leaving only a smoky black blob. It looks kind of like the head of the arm, the evolution of the arm. It drips a similar black yellow substance, but disappears as the gold ball sort of separates from it and flies away. After a flash of light and an electrical crackling from which Mike shields his eyes, only a smaller gold ball remains on the chair where Dougie was. Mike retrieves the ball and the ring, the latter of which he replaces on the table from Fire Walk with Me. Who is Dougie? Did Mr. C create him to fool the Black Lodge and be returned back there in his place? Presumably Mr. C gave him the ring to mark him as having to return to the Black Lodge somehow. What was the gold ball? What's the whole deal with the green ring anyway? In the vacant house, Cooper emerges from the power outlet in a cloud of black smoke similar to that came out of Dougie. Jade appears, asking about the noise, and is shocked by how Dougie has changed. Cooper is disoriented and childlike as Jade prods him to leave the house. She searches his pockets for Dougie's car keys, but only finds Cooper's old number 315 room key from the Great Northern Hotel in Twin Peaks. As they drive away, another car approaches. The man inside calls another man to track Dougie's movements, apparently. The man at the community's entrance with a rifle, saying he'll get Dougie if he's in Jade's car. Jade wants Cooper to call the police for help. Cooper looks at his room key, but drops it and must bend over to get it. When the man at the entrance doesn't see Dougie, he lets Jade's car pass without bothering it. The men agree to meet at Mikey's. Is this a Mike we've seen before? A boy watches from another house across the street as the first man puts something on Dougie's car, maybe a tracker or a bomb. The boy's apparent mother, who appears to be a drug addict and or an alcoholic, repeats the numbers 119. She takes a pill, which she washes down with some liquor, and then lights a cigarette while her son eats crackers on the couch. Why is Cooper suddenly so childlike? Has he taken on some sort of persona from Dougie? Dougie didn't seem like he was exactly the sharpest nail in the box, but he didn't seem like he was totally childlike either. Who are the men tracking Dougie? What kind of trouble is he in? Who are the boy and the woman? It sounds like the woman is calling a number for someone in a line at a mental home or something, where they have to walk up to a window and get their numbers, or maybe in a drugstore or something like that. But she and the boy are alone. Doesn't seem to be anyone else there. What does 119 mean? Is it 911 backwards? Is she somebody from the Black Lodge? We saw the numbers 116 on police cars in the scene where the police appeared and searched Ruth Davenport's apartment. Anything to do with that? I don't know. State troopers find Mr. C's car crashed. When one trooper gets too close to the car, the open window there, he's sickened by the smell emanating from within. The second trooper calls for help, saying for them to make sure they bring gas masks. And what exactly is the substance? Why is it making people sick? Is it harmful to people? Some sort of biohazard? At the Twin Peaks Police Department, Hawk, Andy, and Lucy gather files on Cooper. They can't find anything missing. Hawk wonders how they know if nothing's missing if it's not there. Lucy says, but if everything is there, then it's not missing? Hawk repeats the log lady's information about something being missing, and he needs to find it, and it has something to do with his heritage. Lucy points out the obvious. Hawk's an Indian. Lucy realizes that she ate a chocolate bunny in a package. Are those the same bunnies that Cooper was looking at 25 years ago? The small box of chocolate bunnies? Seems like that must have some kind of shelf life that would be far past now. She says that the chocolate bunny she ate must be what's missing. Andy wonders if chocolate bunnies have anything to do with Hawk's heritage, which Hawk refutes, of course. Lucy ate the bunny to relieve gas. Hawk wonders about the bunny before finally concluding that it must not be about the bunny. This whole scene was pretty funny, probably the funniest thing in the whole series so far. And it was played, I think, for laughs. It feels like Lynch is kind of embarrassed by the old series, like he's almost reluctant to actually put more about the characters in here. And even when he does put more about the Twin Peaks residents in the show, it feels like he's kind of making fun of them, like he doesn't really like them all that much. Dr. Jacoby, at his mountain mobile home, uses a special device to hang and move the shovels he received, spray painting them gold, and then hangs them and let them dry. I wonder if this shovel painting business is a business, and he sells them to people to dig that first shovel full of dirt at a groundbreaking ceremony, maybe, or if it's some kind of art installation project. Does he become a performance artist of some kind? Or is it for some other reason? Do shovels have any bearing on his previous character arc, aside from having buried Laura Palmer? I mean, she seemed to have had quite an effect on him, but this seems like kind of a stretch. I had a crazy idea that eventually he's going to appear just out of the blue in Twin Peaks with the shovels at some point, and so he and 4 other people can dig up Laura Palmer's grave or something. I don't know. I've seen in set pictures from the new series that Laura Palmer apparently does reappear at some point in town due to some kind of behind-the-scenes photos I've seen. Jade drives Cooper to the casino. Is it possible that he works there, maybe? The people there don't seem to recognize him. She gives him $5 and tells him you can go out now, reminding Cooper that Laura told him the same thing in the Red Room. She tells him to go inside and ask for help, which Cooper does slowly make his way inside and holds up the $5 bill to a security guard, who tells him to go and get change and then go to the casino. In the casino, Cooper watches a man in a slot machine put in a coin, pull the lever, and when he hits a jackpot, says, "Hello!" Cooper sees a small, fiery icon of the Red Room over one of the nearby slot machines. When he uses it, replaying what the other man did exactly, it gives him a jackpot. He has his jackpots on several more machines with the same method as an employee watches him, the Red Room icon and all. When Cooper points to another machine with the icon over it near a nasty-looking old lady, she flips him off. The woman looks at his previous jackpot but sees a camera in the ceiling, and she also gives that the finger. The employee gets a guard to watch the jackpot as she looks for Cooper, who's already gone to another machine. When the old woman sees Cooper win again, she uses the machine he had indicated to her earlier and also hits a jackpot. This sequence seems kind of aimless, meandering, but I'm guessing it has some kind of payoff at some point. In Philadelphia, at FBI headquarters, Gordon Cole and Albert Rosenfield review a murder case with a team. The suspect says he's innocent, but identifying the real culprit will breach national security. Items he placed in his garden in Georgetown are clues to the killer's identity. Cole says the congressman's dilemma and tells him to get to work. It's a whole line of pictures of nearly naked women, a boy in what appears to be a sailor suit, a pair of pliers, an Uzi, and a jar full of what appear to be stones of some kind. Cole and Albert remain in the room with Agent Tamara Preston, who is the agent who reviewed the dossier in Mark Frost's Secret History of Twin Peaks. She shows them what she found in New York, photos and other information that show the murders of Sam and Tracy in the room with the glass box. No one knows who owns the place. They haven't learned who the owner is. And none of the 24-hour, 7 days a week guards who were employed at the place had been found. The NYPD Blue confiscated all the files from the cameras watching the glass box, apparently. Preston says blurry images pass through occasionally, and then shows them the image of the creature, which only showed up on one camera that killed the two. When the creature moved, it disappeared from the camera. Cole gets a call about Cooper, who was found in South Dakota. There's a funny Franz Kafka portrait on Gordon Cole's office. Does that mean anything? Or is it just sort of, I don't know, some sort of commentary on the strangeness of the show? Maybe he's a favorite author of Mark Frost or David Lynch, or both of them. Was the thing in the glass box, I know I asked this before, but was the thing in the glass box following Agent Cooper? Why didn't the cameras show Cooper when he was in the box? And the episode closes with a musical number back in the roadhouse with the cactus blossoms. And that's all about episode 3. Thanks for watching.